I trusted them with everything, and they shattered my world. What I did next was unthinkable. Emily Carter, 22, a seemingly sweet college student, but cunning beneath the surface. Madison Reed, 24, Emily's so-called best friend, manipulative, ambitious, and dangerous when crossed. It all started the day I thought I had found my safe circle in Los Angeles. Emily Carter and Madison. Reed had seemed like the perfect friends at first glance. Cheerful, charming, and always supportive. I was 23 then, fresh out of college, chasing my first real job in the tech world. I never imagined that the two people I laughed with, shared secrets with, and trusted completely could turn into the architects of my nightmare. Emily's laughter had always been infectious. Madison, on the other hand, had a calculated smile that I mistook for warmth. Together they seemed unstoppable. I felt lucky. But luck is often just a mask for betrayal. It began with small things. My ideas at work, which I shared in confidence, started appearing in presentations that were credited to Madison. I confronted her once, thinking it was a misunderstanding. She feigned ignorance, her blue eyes wide with faux innocence. "I didn't know you were serious about it," she said, like I was the one in the wrong. Emily would nod along, saying, "Maybe it's just a coincidence. Let it go." At that moment, I wanted to believe them. But a tiny voice inside me whispered that something was off. Then came the personal betrayal. Emily invited me to her apartment for what she claimed was a girls' night in, just the three of us. I walked in expecting fun, snacks, and gossip. Instead, I found my most private journal lying open on the table. Every secret I had written, every fear I had confided in them, was spread across pages in front of me. Madison smirked. Emily looked down, pretending to be sorry. "We just thought you'd want advice," Emily said, her voice dripping with fake concern. I could feel the ground beneath me shift. The trust I had placed in them felt like sand slipping through my fingers. I spent nights crying, questioning myself. How had I misjudged them so badly? The next day, I decided that I couldn't just let this slide. Not anymore. I started gathering evidence. Text messages, emails, screenshots, even recordings of conversations where they mocked me, planned behind my back, or manipulated situations to humiliate me. It was painstaking, tedious, but every detail mattered. I realized the revenge had to be meticulous. I couldn't just confront them. They thrived on chaos. They loved seeing me crumble. They wanted to win. I had to win on my terms. Step 1 was social exposure. Emily was working as a social media influencer, always flaunting a perfect life. Madison was climbing the ladder at a tech startup, known for networking and charm. Both were obsessed with image, so I created an anonymous account and began posting subtle hints about their schemes. Nothing traceable, just enough to make people notice inconsistencies in their stories. Soon, friends started asking questions. Colleagues at work whispered. The tension began to build, slowly eating at their carefully curated facades. Next, I exploited their rivalry. Emily and Madison, despite being close, had competing ambitions. I fed small lies to each, making them believe the other was sabotaging them. Emails accidentally sent to the wrong person. Texts that seemed misdirected. Within weeks, their friendship began to fracture. Every glance, every word became suspicion. I watched from the sidelines, quietly recording the fallout. But I knew I needed the final move to truly expose them. It came during a high-profile industry gala. Both were attending, dressed in designer gowns, ready to charm everyone. I had arranged for a private conversation to be live-streamed, a setup that revealed their true colors. Madison spoke of a project she had stolen, openly bragging, thinking no one could hear. Emily laughed at personal secrets of mine, mocking my vulnerabilities. The audience watching online, hundreds of industry insiders, saw everything. The reactions were immediate. Offers rescinded, sponsors pulled back, invitations vanished. I didn't gloat. I didn't send threats or messages. I let reality handle the justice. Emily and Madison, once untouchable in their circles, were suddenly isolated. Their social media accounts flooded with backlash. Work relationships strained. People I had thought indifferent were now allies, grateful for the truth. Yet revenge was not just about ruin. It was about reclaiming my peace. After the exposure, I deleted the anonymous account. I didn't need recognition or validation. I walked away from the chaos, finally free from the toxic web they had spun. A few months later, I met new people, genuine friends, people who valued honesty. I learned to trust carefully, but with courage. I realized that lies and betrayal are part of life, but how you respond defines your character. Emily and Madison's lives never recovered to the glossy image they had maintained, and I never regretted the steps I took. Looking back, the hardest part wasn't the plotting or the execution. It was believing that people I loved could betray me so completely. But that pain became my strength. And in the end, the truth, unvarnished, undeniable, was my greatest weapon. I often think of that moment. The night I first opened my journal and found betrayal staring back at me. If I hadn't experienced it, I wouldn't have discovered the power within myself. Revenge is often painted as dark and destructive, but sometimes it is simply the reclamation of one's dignity. And so I moved on, stronger, wiser, and unshaken. The world learned a lesson about Emily Carter and Madison Reed, learned a lesson about myself. Never underestimate the quiet strength of a person who has been wronged.